Poznata portugalska novinarka Marijana Van Zeler od večeras nas vodi u istraživanje najopasnijih crnih tržišta međunarodnog podzemlja. U osmodelnom serijalu Ilegalna trgovina Marijana Van Zeler upoznaće najokorelije kriminalce od Majamija do Tel Aviva i od Los Anđelesa do karipske obale Kolumbije i džungli Perua. Prevare, makroi, skriveni putevi droge, trgovina ljudima, oružjem i retkim životinjima, falsifikatori novca sa svih meridijana, nema tog crnog tržišta koje Van Zelerova nije uvrstila u svoj istraživački dokumentarac.
Okay, we're here. Right now, it's go time. Should I be concerned about my security?
Money is the root of all evil.
What makes the traffic so special and different from the other shows?
Well, we gain unprecedented access into black markets all around the world. There's a lot of information out there about the formal economies, and yet we know very little about these informal gray and black markets that actually make up for half of the global economy. So part of what I wanted to do with this show is to really be able to enter these worlds and get to know the traffickers, the smugglers, the black market operators, and see what we can learn from these worlds.
What kind of preparation is necessary for a show like this?
I've been covering black markets for over 15 years, almost my entire career as a journalist. So I think that is one of the reasons why a show like this can happen. You know, I have connections and sources and experience. You know, there's a lot that goes into place before we even head to the fields, security meetings, planning. I mean, this show, it took us 2 years you know, of working very hard with a big team to put this out. It's definitely a very challenging show. Again, it's about gaining access to the most secretive and darkest corners of our world. So it wasn't easy, but I'm fortunate enough to work with an incredibly talented team as well.
How do you reach the people for interviews, and how do you make people willing to talk?
Yeah, so part of you know, part is connections and sources that I've gained throughout the world during my career as a journalist. But I'd say a large part is actually we rely very heavily on local journalists. They're really the unsung heroes of our industry. They're the ones who've been reporting on these stories in a lot of cases and are willing to share their sources and be our guides into these worlds. But I'd say that one of the reasons there's a combination of factors why people agree to talk to us. Partly it's ego. These are some of the best of what they do. And we give them an opportunity to tell us, you know, what it is that they do and how good they are at their jobs to be able to boast. You know, in many cases, their families don't even know what they do. Secondly, I think it's impunity. They've been able to operate in these worlds for so many years without ever being caught that they don't see a downside to talk to an internationally recognized brand and trusted brand like National Geographic. And I think third and most importantly is the idea that we approach everyone we speak to with empathy instead of judgment. And they realize that they're considered the bad guys, the criminals, the outlaws, and we give them a chance to tell us their side of the story.
Which episode of the new season is the most interesting for you?
You know, there's one that was a 1 hour and we turned into a 2 hour investigation, which was the one about guns and American guns and how they're fueling violence around the world. And that's why we wanted to do this show, is because I'd seen firsthand how, you know, America has sort of become the supermarket of guns, and I wanted to, for a lot of places around the world, and I wanted to follow the pipeline, what we call the Iron River of guns flowing from the United States to Mexico. And we were able to do that, and I think that's going to be a really big eye-opener, I hope, and hopefully have some sort of an impact.